All right, guys, thank you so much for being on our Jewel call tonight. We have a weekly team call at 9 o'clock every Tuesday, and I'm so excited for our special guest tonight. I'm going to give her the entire 30 minutes tonight. Her name is Jennifer Wolf. She is our newest Emerald from Ohio, but there's more to this story. I've actually known her for several years now because she used to come down to our Columbus meetings. She is not on our team, on our personal team, but we've all kind of worked together and back and forth over the past few years, and her story is just incredible of beginning to end. So I told her that she could have the floor the entire time to share what she's doing, what she did that worked, kind of her highs and lows, and there have been a lot. So Jennifer, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, I don't know if what ranks everyone is. So whatever I say tonight, if I'm throwing around things that don't really, just take whatever I say and turn it into something that you can internalize and use, even if you are a lower rank, even if going for Emerald isn't part of your story yet. So I've been with the company for 2.5 years, and I used to go to Julie's meetings down in Polaris when I was silver. I'm on a Texas team, so I had nobody up here. So thank God for one Plexus culture, let me tell you that. And I was a silver when I used to go to her meetings and just absolutely soaked up everything that I could. And then I stopped going, started growing my own team and just doing my own smaller things here. I'm from Northeast Ohio, Alliance, about 20 minutes from Canton, Pro Football Hall of Fame. So that's where I'm at. And I ranked pretty quickly in this business. I just kind of felt like I'm super coachable. So I went silver in 5 weeks. I went gold 4 months later. I went senior gold 4 months after that. I went ruby 4 months after that. And then I went senior ruby 29 days after I went ruby because we were having a lot of momentum at that time in 2016. And so I thought Emerald was in the bag. That was not the case for me. So wherever you get stuck, I say stuck because I think stuck is a mindset, not a reality. But wherever you get stuck in your journey, mine was at senior ruby, which is a really comfortable place to get stuck. And I think I got stuck. We all get stuck for different reasons, but I got stuck because I had achieved one of my whys, which was to stay home with my kids. I retired when I hit senior ruby. For some people, that's different for every person. For you, maybe you've achieved something already and you haven't really recognized that might be something that's holding you back. Success and failure sometimes can slow you up exactly the same. I sat at senior ruby for 15 months. And that was the longest time of my life when you're one rank away from Emerald. But let me just tell you, reality hit me big time when I became a senior ruby. It's one thing to be a gold ambassador and say, yeah, I'm all in. I want to be a jewel. I want to do everything all the way to the top, financial freedom. But when that's your very next rank, reality for me sunk in immediately. And I really didn't know what I was doing with that large of a team, even though I had built it over 13 months and I considered myself a really strong leader. I also had a lot of personal growth to do, but I didn't run from that. I didn't sit there and wonder what can I do? I just dived right in. So I started working on my personal growth and I started working on my positive affirmations. And something that I had to realize is that I had to give myself permission to feel worthy of the next level. And I think that's different for everybody. I felt worthy enough all the way up to be a senior ruby. Maybe, some people don't feel worthy enough to be a senior gold, or that freaks them out for certain reasons. So I had to realize that that was something else that was holding me back. And I had to really work around that and just tell myself every single day, I'm worthy of this. I deserve this. I am this. So I call it positive affirmation hocus pocus, because if people get it, then I can see that they're really getting it. If they don't really get it, they kind of just look at me like I'm talking about some crazy witch magic. But I absolutely believe in the law of attraction. If you're a biblical person, the biblical references, the power of life and death is in the tongue. That's from the Bible. There's just a lot of different ways, whether you're a believer in the Lord like I am, or you're a believer in, the universe giving you anything through the law of attraction. They both say the same exact thing. And that is that you can manifest what you want to see happen. So I started taking that very, very seriously. We did a book study in my journey to Emerald from senior gold, or from senior ruby. We did a book study on what to say when you talk to yourself. And I took that very seriously. Now, let me tell you, it was hard on me because what I wanted to do was I wanted to do incentives. I wanted to do a big recruiting thing. I wanted to work with my leaders. I wanted to do all of the analytical A to Z black and white things to get me to Emerald. Taking the time to work on self-development felt agonizing to me. But I did it anyway because I felt like I was being pushed to. And I honestly was like, well, I don't know what else to do. So maybe all this personal growth stuff that they say is real. So maybe I should take it seriously now. And maybe I'll go Emerald. So that's what I started doing. That book changed everything for me. Absolutely everything. I took it to heart. Everything that he says in that book, I took notes on that book. I highlighted it. And I also led that book study. I didn't rely on any of my uplines to do it. That was the first time I really stepped into a leadership role as far as personal growth goes as well. So the book is absolutely amazing. I started doing what he says in the book, which is to listen to your affirmations played back to you. So I downloaded 2 apps. One's called Think Up, and the other one is called Repeat It Again. And I started using them. And I use them religiously. I use them, you know how like they say if you go to the gym and you don't go 4 or 5 days a week, you're never going to see results. That's how I viewed this positive affirmation journey that I started going on. And I started these affirmations, you guys, after I didn't just fail to hit Emerald in my fancy timeline because I thought I was so cool ranking up every 4 months. I lost rank, and I lost rank big time. I went backward. I lost Senior Ruby 2 months after I hit it. And then, I mean, you're always a Senior Ruby, but you lose points and you lose pay. And then I lost Ruby points in December and January. So in January of this year, I ended at like 490 points. So I was a Senior Gold technically in the back office. That was really hard pill to swallow. And that was right around the time we were doing the book study. And I was like, why am I wasting time on this stupid book study? I'm not even Ruby right now. But it was the best thing that I ever did for myself. I started utilizing those apps and saying things into them that I wanted to see happen in my business. I think sometimes what we all get caught up in is, trying to watch time too, what we all get caught up in is talking about what our team isn't doing, what our potentials aren't doing, what we are struggling with. And we think that by acknowledging all of this, it's going to help us. Well, it does. But something that my business coach taught me, I got a business coach about 2 months ago, and she completely changed everything for me too. And if you want her information, I can give it to you. She's absolutely incredible. And reasonably priced too. Takes payment plans, which is what this broke Senior Ruby totally needed at the time. And she told me, you can bring up an issue, you can bring up a problem, but you can only bring it up to address it. And after that, you need to stop speaking about it. You need to start speaking about the solution. And I think that's really huge. A lot of times our teams come to us and they're like, well, this and well, that and this and that. And we want to talk about that with them. A lot of times, bonding over the vent sessions happens with your team. And it was hard for me. I had to really put a stop to it and say, okay, I understand this is where you're at, and this is what you're telling me is not happening, and this is what is wrong. Now we have to shift the conversation to a solution for that. And if you don't mind, I'd also like to positively affirm all of that with you. And that was rough on my team, especially the ones that were reluctant to go on this positive affirmation journey with me. But that's what I started doing. I stopped constantly speaking out loud what was wrong and what wasn't happening. And I started just addressing it once with my upline, so we knew what we were feeling. And then we kind of had this agreement, okay, we're not going to speak that again. And we're only going to talk about solutions for that. And we're going to positively affirm the opposite of that. So instead of saying, oh, my team's not adding, what can we do to make them add? I'll say, did you see recruitments are, like things seem a little slow, don't they? Yeah, they do. Okay. And then we'll start talking about what we can do to fix it. And then before we would get off the phone, or before we would be done voice messaging each other back, I would be like, okay, do you want to positively affirm some of this with me? And she's like, yep, I'm just going to speak life over this. And I'm just going to say, our teams are adding. We have so much momentum, everything that you want to see happen. So something that I'm working with my leaders with right now is to positively affirm specific things and general things over their life and business. Positively affirm where they want to see their points be next month. and this month where they want to end. And affirm. So if some things are, if they are struggling or fearful, I have this amazing girl tonight or this month, who's ranking up to senior goal. And she's already voicing out loud to me her fears of attrition and losing people in August after she hits a rank. And that's the kind of mindset that I want to be just obliterated on my team. I don't want that anymore because of what it did for me in my journey. So those are just some tips. I don't have any notes tonight, you guys, because I wanted to come really raw and real with you and just share my story. I didn't want to be scripted at all. For me personally, when I listen to people talk and they're scripted, they kind of lose me. I love when people just speak from the heart and whatever's, going to come. So hopefully I'm not rambling too much for you. But in February of this year, I just want to give you some numbers and show you the drastic change that my mindset had on my business, because we weren't really doing anything different. I mean, if you're a leader, if you're a runner, you know by now, or you're being trained right now, what you're supposed to do. You know how to do an incentive. You know how to train somebody, how to motivate somebody, all of that stuff. I think sometimes we do so much of the stuff that we're supposed to do, but then in our mind, we're saying, oh, I don't know. Okay. And we're just thinking negatively. And or we're thinking about the reality of what's going on right now, and we're not thinking positively, and we're not speaking out loud affirmations of what we want to see happen. So our mindset is not in sync with our daily activity, and that's why people spin their wheels for so long. And you could think I'm crazy, but I know that my mindset and my affirmations got me to Emerald. So people could think I'm crazy. I'm gonna just tell you that's what did it for us. That and the daily activity that we were doing anyway, working towards building up to that momentum. In February, I ended, for those of you that don't know, to be an Emerald, you have to have 1,500 pay points in your organization. And I had 750 at one point when I was a senior Ruby. And then I lost rank and everything, like I explained. In February, I had ended at like 560. So I was like, all right, I got Ruby points. Now we're going to get back to senior Ruby. I can do this. In March, I ended at 650. And I was like, well, at least we're going up. At least we're going up. At that time, in February and in March, is when I started making specific affirmations in my little app that I would listen back to myself. And I was saying things like, my team has momentum. My team is growing faster than they've ever grown. People are asking me what my team is doing. People want me to share my story, my journey to Emerald, just all of these amazing things. And I would say like, hi, I'm Jen Wolf. I'm an Emerald ambassador. And just let that play over and over and over again. One of the greatest pieces of advice I ever got from a sideline Emerald was that she said, Jen, you need to start talking to yourself. And you need to say positive things as if they've already happened, what you want to see. And she's like, you better say it out loud too, because your mind needs to hear your mouth say it. There's something about hearing it audibly. So now I make my team say their affirmations instead of just writing them down. I ask my team to do that. So one of the affirmations that I made while I was rambling, I knew that the book said make them specific. And so I was saying, I'm an Emerald ambassador. I went Emerald in 27 months. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought, that's kind of weird. Why that? And I was like, well, whatever. That's good that that came out of my mouth because I need specifics right now. And then a few weeks later, when I was listening to it back, I think I was in the bathroom getting ready in the morning. I like to listen to my affirmations when I'm multitasking so that my subconscious is hearing all of that, but I'm still getting things done. So when I'm driving, doing the dishes, cleaning, taking a bath, I'll listen to my affirmations. The Think Up app is really great because it plays inspirational music in the background too. The first few times you do it, it's kind of awkward, but then you get absolutely totally used to it. And I actually look forward to it because once I'm done listening to my affirmations, I just feel better. So I was listening to it play back and I said 27 months. So then I sat there and I pulled out my phone and I did the math and I was like, holy crap, 27 months is June. Now, mind you, at the time I was in like the 500 and 600. After losing rank, 2016 was a rough month for everybody in the business and, or a rough year for everyone in the business. So I was like, there's no way. There's just no way. Why would I say that? And I almost went in and deleted the affirmation and changed it to something that felt more comfortable and realistic for me. I was going to say like 38 months, you know, because at the time I just could not have imagined being emerald by June. It just seemed impossible. But I decided to leave it because something that me and my sponsor, Rachel Rogers, were also doing, we started to talk about believing the supernatural and not the natural. So believing crazy, almost like a fool's hope, you know, and really believing it, like the way a little kid believes in Santa Claus, like just holding on to it. And you know that it might not come true. You might look like a fool and fall flat on your face, but you're going to go for it anyway and name it and claim it and believe it with all your might. And she called it like trusting the supernatural. Like on paper, black and white, in the natural, what we can see and feel looks completely impossible for us to be able to pull this off. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to trust the supernatural and keep that affirmation. And then June last month was when I actually did go emerald. And that was my 27th month with the company. So it actually came, one of my crazy affirmations actually came true. Actually, a lot of them did. The Consistency Club and the bracelet and all of that, I put all of that stuff. I have affirmations right now over Sapphire, Leaders Retreat, things like that. So if you're not doing that, I cannot tell you guys how impactful it is. The number one thing I think that it's also done for me is that it's made me the kind of leader that doesn't talk about problems. I only talk about solutions. And when my team has a problem or when my team is worried, I affirm things for them. So I say, don't you worry, like your team is going to do this. I see you ending here this month. I see you here in 3 months. And so I'm positively affirming for them. And that's the kind, I've become a leader. I'm almost like a beacon of belief for my team. Like even if you're just a Goldie ambassador, we always talk about casting the vision, but we don't really talk about just belief. And building my mind, changing my mindset, and becoming a master of positive affirmations, which sounds crazy to say because even when I started these, even though I was open-minded to it, I thought it was all cray stuff, just to be completely real with you. But when your mindset gets on point like that, you become a better leader because you're naturally going to positively affirm things for your people, and you're going to build. I think I have said, I believe in you to my team 100 times more than I did ever before I fixed my own mindset. So that's another thing that it has done for me personally. So in March, I ended in the 600s, was still listening to those affirmations thinking, yeah, well, I'm gonna have to change that one when June rolls around and I'm not emerald. And then in April, I ended at 764, and that felt like such a victory for me. I said, we did it. We got back to Senior Ruby. So now I'm like, okay, I'm Senior Ruby. In the next probably 6 months, I'll be emerald, right? But my affirmations were still telling my subconscious, and I kept hearing every single day that I was an emerald in 27 months, that I'm an emerald, over and over and over again, and on momentum and team growth and just so many specifics. Anytime still to this day that I feel anxious or worried or nervous about something, that doubt starts to creep up, I say a positive affirmation over it. I say the opposite. So like right now, some things that I don't even want to speak them out loud. That's how much I believe in this. But just to give you an example, I have had some worries about maintaining emerald and growing from here. You know, there's always that fear of like, oh, what if? So I have been just affirming that we're going to keep growing, that I'm going to maintain emerald. And I just say it over and over again. And I just talk to myself like a crazy person all the time. My kids know, you know, I started saying, I'm already emerald. I'm already emerald. My points just got to catch up. So the other day I was talking about going sapphire, and my 6-year-old daughter said, Mommy, you're already sapphire. So that was a really cool full circle moment to see that my kids are even picking up on this. And I just can't express enough to you guys how important it is for you to get your mindset and your belief brought, like your belief in yourself. Give yourself permission. If you don't, you need to acknowledge what's holding you back. And for me, it was my mindset. What I was telling myself, like I was doing all the work, I was leading the team, but behind the scenes, I didn't feel worthy enough to be an emerald. You guys, I kept thinking that I needed to be a certain way, that I would have my stuff together, have my life together before I went emerald, that we would move into a nicer home, that I would lose a little bit more weight, that I would be more jewel worthy in a way. And it wasn't until I realized that I was called to be a jewel within Plexus, exactly how I am now. That's what changed everything. But I didn't come to that realization until I started working on personal growth and mindset and taking them absolutely seriously. Like, no joke, you guys. Like, just to be completely honest and open and vulnerable with you guys, my Lexus is going to be worth more than my house that we live in right now. We're not going to move until I'm Sapphire. So I had to give myself permission to realize that I deserve to have a car parked out front that's worth more than the home I'm living in. And that I haven't met my weight loss goal yet. And I'm still going to be an emerald. I had to give myself permission to feel worthy and really, really work on that. And just believe that it was going to happen for me exactly where I'm at now, not when you reach a certain point. One of my favorite things to say is that you have to develop an emerald mindset before your pay points will ever follow you there. So if your next rank is like Ruby and you're like, why can't I get Ruby? You need to develop a Ruby mindset before your points are ever going to get to Ruby. You have to get there first before your points will get there. But I promise you that if you get there, your points follow. It's just hand in hand. I mean, like, I was joking with my husband. We don't even have a garage with where we live. And I said, we're going to have a Lexus parked out front. And then we were joking about the fact that we're so hood rich now because we have a Lexus parked out front of our house. And I laugh about it. I like to joke and be super relatable to people because I want people, because for me, I don't relate to a lot of the jewels within the company. That I'm just being completely honest. There's a lot of them that I don't relate to. Julie Adams was one of the first ones that she was really relatable for me. I had to stop following a lot of them and find some that I could see myself in and open my eyes to the fact that I can be a jewel. I mean, look at her. She's a jewel, And so that's a good thing too, is to really, really find some people that you can latch on to, that you can see yourself in a way. I have a friend in Amish country, Pennsylvania, and she lives in an old farmhouse and she's really old and introverted and she's a jewel. And making friends with her was like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. I think a lot of times we just put people on a pedestal inadvertently. And then we start saying those things in our own head, like, I'm not like that, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. I don't have a garage to park my Lexus in. How could I ever be worthy of a Lexus yet? So I had to get to that place mentally. I had to break down all of those barriers. And all of that happened with my mindset and my affirmation. And I just hope that something I'm saying is clicking with somebody, because here's what happened in April. So in April, we ended at 764. I got super intentional. I don't want to leave this part out. I got super intentional with my own business. I got kind of angry and was like, I'm leading this team. Why are we not adding? And then I realized that I was doing subpar work. I wasn't leading by true example. I was at least getting 4 ambassadors a month. That's it. I'm capable of so much more. I had a level 1 who added 10 people in March. And that kind of opened my eyes. I was like almost jealous of her. I was like, hey, I used to add 10 people a month when I was pushing for gold. What's wrong? What am I doing wrong now? I got super, super serious. And I think I followed up with 200 people in 1 week. I cold messaged another 100. And in the month of April, I signed 13 level 1 ambassadors and 5 customers. And my team watched me do that. So that kind of got the ball rolling. I was like, hey, do this with me. Look what I'm doing. I'm super performing here. And I've been in the business 2.5 years. You have no excuse. Like, come do this with me. So I just invited them on this math IPA journey with me. And that started the momentum ball. Then the big reveal happened. We added 151 people in May, and that was our biggest month to date. We'd never added that many people ever. Our highest month before that was 52. So we added 151 people. The big reveal was like the match, and I like to say that like everything we were doing behind the scenes, the book studies, my personal growth, the belief that I was just pouring onto them because of who I was becoming with my affirmations, that was them seeing me add 13 people, and all of that stuff was like gasoline. And then the big reveal was the match. And I think that's the difference, is the big reveal happened company-wide, but not everybody's teams caught fire after that. And I think it's because where we were with our mindset and our belief and how I was leading my team. And then we ended May with 1,061. And that was when the supernatural started to come down into the natural. What I was trusting and believing started to look like it could actually happen on paper. And I was like, holy bejesus, I'm about to be Emerald in June. And then I looked at my husband and I was like, my affirmation told me June. And that was like all the confirmation that I needed. And I was like, okay, we're going to do it. June's the month. I totally believe it now. And so then we went from 760 pay points in April to 16 something in the end of June. So we grew, I don't even know, we grew by 800 and some points, I think. I haven't really sat down and done the math. And in last month, we also added 142 people again. So I should maintain Emerald very easily. And we just have so much belief and momentum right now. And just rank ups like crazy. And me go, and you know, it's so funny because when I first started this personal growth and this positive affirmations and this mindset stuff, I was a lone wolf with it. My team's called the Wolf Pack because I'm Jen Wolf. Yeah, kind of corny, but we own it. And I was like a lone wolf when it came to the affirmations and everything. My team did not want to go there with me, and they reluctantly followed in that path. And I just became a leader who was doing it for them. If they wouldn't positively affirm things, then I would do it for them when I was speaking to them or speaking over them. It's just pouring belief over them and leading by example, having a killer month, adding 13 people. And I think that was what started. So they're like, okay, belief. You can never believe in someone too much. That's all I have to say. You can never believe in them too much. And now, you know, it was like I was the only one who was affirming things. I was the only one who was believing in things. And I had to carry my team there, and I had to get my mindset to Emerald, and then my pay points followed, and now my team is following. Now my team has belief that is unstoppable. And they're talking about when their next rank up is, and who's going to go gold next, and who's going ruby, and all of this stuff. And it's just a lot of fun to see. So that's basically my journey. I know a lot of you, I told Julie, a lot of people are going to be hoping that I give some A to Z, black and white. Like, we ran this incentive, and I did this, and I did this, and I did that. I mean, we did some of those things behind the scenes, but that was not what got me to Emerald. What got me to Emerald was my personal growth and my positive affirmations and becoming a leader who truly poured belief into people and took people on a personal growth journey with me. I had to drag some of them kicking and screaming, but they came. And we were just, you know, pouring that fuel constantly. And then when the big reveal happened, that was our kind of like our matchstick moment, and it just kicked off from there. So that's how I gained 900 pay points in 2 months and went Emerald out of absolutely nowhere. So that's my story in a nutshell. I think I talked the full 30 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm a talker.
No, I mean, first of all, I'm just speechless. Like, I know everyone on this call is absolutely speechless. Like, first of all, I hope you know how incredible that is. Like, how mind-blowingly incredible that is, especially for a lot of us knowing you from before. Like, you're one of those people, you just had it. Like, you have it, you had the drive, and we've talked off and on about this for years now. But just to know what's possible, I think everyone's sitting here, I don't care what rank you are. I mean, I don't care what rank you are, how many points you have, knowing what's possible in that amount of time. And we don't want to know the incentives. We don't need to know the incentives. If we were looking for that, we do all that stuff. It's the other stuff. It's the stuff that we've gone through in book studies. I know that most of us have done. Here's the book, guys, if you haven't seen it yet. If you're brand spanking new, you've just totally reignited me to do another one of these book studies on my outside page. Hopefully a lot of our senior rubies will do this again also. But it's just, but you're, I mean, I've never been, I do it, but I don't do it consistently like you're talking about. Like that kind of stuff. And I know a lot of people are shaking their heads like, yeah, I have the app, or yeah, I do this, or yeah, sometimes I do this, or sometimes I do this. It's not all the time. It's not every day. Like,
yeah, and I wanted to say something I totally forgot, really important. My business coach taught me that common knowledge is not the same as common practice. And the difference between the people who read the books and go nowhere and the people who read the books and succeed are the ones who put it into action. Even when you don't feel like it, you do it anyway. So that was when I was like, okay, I got to listen to these apps every single day.
Right. Well, we just appreciate you so much being on here. Appreciate knowing you just as a friend and as an ambassador. And I mean, we have over 100 people on this call in the summer. Like, I don't think you understand what a big deal that is. People wanted to hear you. They wanted to hear your story. And we're so glad that you took the time with us, because this is stuff that I don't think we talk about enough. And you are proof that it works, because sometimes it's just blowing smoke. It just seems so just, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I was very like, when I started, like, work hard and it happens. Like, that's just how I've always been. And the more I've done Plexus, the more I realize how important this is in conversations with teams and myself. I mean, it's kind of like, I know what to eat. I know what healthy food is, but then I'm going to go eat some pizza. I know I need to go work out. I know what's good for me, but I didn't get on the treadmill today. It's the same concept. And it's so much a part of this. So we just appreciate you. I mean, look at the chat. It's blowing up. Like, this is exactly what we needed at the exact right time. The names of the apps are called Think Up.
Yeah. Think Up.
Yep. Think Up and Repeat It.
And Repeat. I think it's called Repeat It Again.
Yeah. They're both free. Bridget Early and I were just talking about Think Up like 20 minutes ago. You can have some free stuff, and then they have some upgrades. But yeah, I'm going to start doing this too. And outside people, we're going to start doing this. We're not waiting until fall. A lot of new people on our team we haven't done this for months and months. So they're brand new and they're asking what the name of the book is, which means we need to get back into it. All right. Thank you.
Good. I feel honored, honestly.
Well, I'm going to.
Thanks for having me. I hope that I wanted to make sure that I didn't put any makeup on. I wanted to be super relatable. I'm like dead set on being one of those Jules where they're like, oh, she just called herself hood rich and she doesn't even have a garage for a Lexus. I can do that too. So that's like that's my goal now.
It's refreshing. Because so many people, you think you have to look a certain way, or you think of that one person you follow on Facebook all the time. That's not what this is. And those are the ones you happen to see. But there are hundreds and hundreds of Jules that just are kind of not out in the spotlight. And it's everybody, it's anybody, it's you. But you have to believe that it can be you, regardless of where you are right now. So we appreciate you so much. We always unmute so that everybody can scream and yell and say thank you.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Jennifer. And
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You could become a Jewel too.
Bye,
I don't need to
guys.
like look gorgeous to be a Jewel.